Welcome to a Season 5 face-off between Beastyqt and loueMT. Both of these players at the tippy top of the ladder, and you can only expect high-level gameplay. We've got the French versus the Ottomans, and I'm interested to see how these players approach these civilizations here now that we have a new season of Age of Empires 4, and not to mention, we're also on Marshland, a brand new map, and it's also rumored that the Wildman might roam these fields at some point to offer up a 3x boon. And if you haven't already, check out my monster guide on YouTube, as well as my Monster Mash parody video for the Monster Map Season 5. Let's call out what's going on in this game. Beastyqt playing as the Ottomans, opening up with his military school. Of course, he got just a little bit of stone there, one trip there, pretty standard Ottoman opening. And on the other side, Louis playing as the French. Not going to see anything too fancy here. Starting the sheep, going to the gold. That's going to be kind of the start of the game. Now, this map, let's talk about this a little bit. There's a lot of resources underneath your town center. Look at the range of this, for instance. Your gold's under your town center. You've got, look, he's got 3 wood lines within range of his TC. Berries not far, stone not very far, and looking at some of the expansions, there's always so much food. Look, boar, deer, berries right there. The other side, he's got deer, he's got some more deer. I don't know where the boar went. Now hold on a second. Red flag, red flag. Why is this isn't fair how this boar has spawned, but have no worries. There is plenty food left because there's also plenty of shoreline fish out here. So we'll be calling out how they're playing this game, and we'll see if Louis can take a win off of Beastyqt. Honestly, both of them very, very good players, and I'll be curious to see how this one pans out. So there we go, the first drop off of sheep. And Louis, I expect going to open with the School of Cavalry, but I mean, there is a decent trade opportunity here, but honestly, with the trade rework, you know, I've seen less trading than ever before. Probably for the best, as we know trade has kind of been crazy for the game this last season. And there you have it. School of Cavalry is going to be bringing 5 villagers to build that. And everything else pretty standard so far. So things to look out for. Will he try to go for a town center expansion? Of course, the Ottomans are known for that heavy aggression. Their large military size and big age 2 aggression a lot of times. But sometimes they go for a fast castle kind of timing push. Now, one thing I will say about playing Ottomans on this map is, you know, typically you want to get your blacksmith and you want to get a bunch of buildings around it for that production boost that the Ottomans get offered by their blacksmith. But on a map like this, you can see he's kind of constricted. Like, he built his military school here, but when he goes to build his blacksmith, I mean, he could still get a few buildings here, but ideally you want to have full coverage if you can. You know, like something like open ground, like not even this. There's not enough space because of the mines, but so that's a little bit of a caveat for this map, certainly. Building his twin minaret address on the northwest corner of his base. Of course, that will be generating food for him to gather throughout the rest of the game. Spearmen coming out. And of course, having a few spearmen as the French hit the next age is always nice, since they're going to be probably making some cav. I expect to probably see some Royal Knights there. No transition to stone yet. We do see some villagers moving off to wood. So probably going to go for an archery range. Of course, he expects the spearmen to be out there. And there it is, the first knight being trained. Now, maps like this are often popular for the French, or the French are popular played on these, because you're going to catch villagers often wandering around, moving and migrating from food source to food source. Really, there's no really good reason to go to farms super early if you're not a civilization that gets some massive buff to your farms, just because there is so much food available out here on the map. So it's nice for the French because, of course, they've got their knights, which are just great raiding units available in the second age, those Royal Knights, and they can passively heal. So as he moves in, let's see what he's going to target. I could see him either running into this wood line or maybe running up here. I mean, this is almost a 2-for-1 special here on this mining camp, but just enough space. Sometimes people will go for it. Okay, putting his spearman in position to protect. He knows it's coming. Let's get the line of sight. He'll see it here in just a second. There's also some stealth for us on this map. Don't forget about that. Pulls the villagers, keeps them alive. Remember, knights will kill villagers even faster than before because there's no delay after their initial charge like there used to be. First spearman goes down and goes in for the villager, but backs up. Louis getting a little pick there on those spearmen. BC just on top of his micro though, not going to be losing any of his villagers. Let's see what else is lurking out there in the woods. More knights coming across. And I think as he kind of has his opponent distracted, he's making a transition towards his second town center. Of course, the French, they get a boost for their town center gather rate. They got a civilization, I'm sorry, training rate. They've got a civilization bonus, so they train villagers faster than other civs throughout the ages. It scales. And there we do see the military school, a stable, and a barracks. So he's going to be getting the spearman upgrades, which he's going to want to thin those knights off. And he's also collecting a fair amount of gold. Knights coming on in. We've got a house right now being dropped right in front of his gold to kind of give him some space to block those knights. Villager out on the outside of the barriers, because be careful not to get picked off, but BC keeps him safe. Ooh, that was very close. But what he's doing here, he's getting idle time, right? That's 4 villagers not gathering resources right now. Okay, and we've got Knight up to the left, continuing to circle around, but his focus right now is in getting that second town center down. If he can get that, he'll probably place it, I mean, right here, there's so much food, I assume that's where he'll go for it. And there's that blacksmith now going to be buffing up those 3 buildings. And, you know, I talked about there not being much space, but he's making a good use of it. You don't get the full surround like you might want, but it's still pretty good. And now across the middle of the map, we've got a little bit of a raid coming in. Metter with a scout and a Spahi running across the middle of the map. So knights chasing, they're not going to catch them because they've got more speed. He's actually going to peel 2 more knights back. So going to go for a bit of raid, and perhaps he'll target this area. Man, that is just an insane food location. Look at that. This map has so much food. I mean, just appreciate what's going on here. Like, what on earth? I can't zoom anymore because they broke it in the UI, but that is a lot of food. Continuing to try to catch raids down here on the right side, but BC is defending this very well with his spearman. It's hard to pull one quick one off with him, and continues to protect his base. Now moving to the stone, perhaps to add in some more military schools. I think he realizes he's running out of space, and you see he does actually switch it up and goes for the military school instead of whatever he was building there originally. Okay, almost gets a knight, but not quite. I don't know. Yeah, no villagers have been picked off yet, so it's been a good defense so far from both players. He did distract one knight, I guess, bringing him back as he ran all the way across the map. But BC just looking to get his military production online so he can maybe go for a counterattack here against the French as they are booming up. He knows he's on 2T, his enemy's on 2TC. And what's he dropping down right now? I think that's going to be another military building. Yes, there it is. A stable and a barracks. So BC is definitely committing to some feudal age. I'm assuming it's going to be aggression here. So he's got a few left on gold. We'll probably be picking up some of those blacksmith upgrades, I would imagine, soon, along with a few eco-techs. As you see, he's gotten the wheelbarrow, and he's got his wedge rivet so far. So that's kind of the stage that's set. Now, I'll tell you, the Wildman is about to spawn any moment. I don't know if it already did. Oh, I hear him. Did you guys hear that? He's out here. I don't see him, though. Man, he can be hard to spot. I don't know if they just, like, put random sounds all over the map. It kind of seems like that at times. There's a Wildman out here somewhere. Okay, Knight's trying to charge in. It looked like a villager was going for it. There's a villager. I think he's looking for the Wildman. He sees it. Let's see where it is. Beastie's on the hunt. The beast searches for the beast out in the woods. And you can see it through the fog of war, by the way. So that's one thing. He might already have a beat on it. Oh, there it is. There he is. The elusive Wildman. Beastie meets the Wildman. That's a long walk for a villager, but it'll get a 300% gather boost here. So I guess in the end, gonna be worth it over time. A little bit of a loss in the short term. That's a long walk. And there it is. Beasty's gonna get it. There we go. Let's pop on out here so I can zoom in. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. He's got the hunter's boon there. Wildman's boon, rather. I gotta switch it up here because of the fact that the UI is broken. You can't zoom. There we go. And now BC's villagers are... That one villager's gonna have a better gather rate. Knights charging in. Can he get one? Down goes a Vil. Nice little pick up there by the Knights, but the Spahi gonna be chasing with faster speed. And Spearmen behind him, so the Knights really can't turn and take that fight. His army was all up to the north, kind of protecting that villager for the most part, but BC really starting to mass an army. Look at those counts here at the top. Villager counts might be lower, but he's going to have quite an army, and that's really the power of the Ottomans. Look at this, just continuing to slap down more protection buildings. There's that Chad villager returning home. And now, let's see, we got 2 TC still. Didn't go for a 3rd TC or anything wild. Got a blacksmith being dropped down right now. And the Ottomans starting to reach the French base. He's going to need to start making a lot more units if he hopes to protect this. Maybe it looks like he's trying to kind of run the army around. But I don't know if he can really take this head on now, because there's a significant number of spearmen in this force. You can see 20 spearmen right here alone. He doesn't really want to dive in on that. So he's going to try to go for a raid of his own. But this is going to get a little tricky as he gets close to his TC. You can see Louis trying to get some archers out, 2 archery ranges, pumping units. He's also getting his archer techs. So let's see if Beasty slams his army in here. But we see on the other side of the map, Knights going at the exact same time. So going to be losing some villagers right away. Oh man. But on the other side, we got an attack against spearmen, which is not probably what he wanted with this raid. He might have attack moved. I mean, he's going to kill these few spearmen. Maybe he wants that because now he can kind of run around the base and force BC's army back. But he lost a few of his own villagers on the way. You can see kind of equal, you know, for what it's worth. And we got our first ram being trained up. Beasty going for the ram push. Going to be taking it to the French. He might just go in here and try to clear all these farms out, then maybe go for archery ranges. Is what I wonder. I don't know if he'll come all the way down here and go for this back line, which is also another, you know, potential avenue of attack, which looks like maybe what he's going to do. Yeah, I think that's a smart move. So he's going to come down here, go after that town center, push villagers. I mean, if you think about it, like, this is where all the food is, right? They've already eaten this deer, but if he can push his opponent off of food, that's going to be less army coming at him. It almost looked like Louis maybe was macroing to age up, but he certainly does not have the resources to do so. Knights could get a pick on 5 villagers here, but let's see if Beasty pulls them in time. Knights charging in. Villagers look unaware. And Louis spots it, goes for the kill, and gonna get a complete cleanup on those villagers. A nice raid for Louis. So now Beasty, even further behind him, villagers need to have a successful offensive here, because if this gets stalled out, that is certainly going to be GG. Okay, we've got the Rams moving in, trying to deny some of these techs here on the blacksmith. But let's see if they're able to get it. How much time's left on that? 6 seconds. Yeah, he's not gonna be able to stop that. Needs to get the spearman in position before his Rams go down. There comes the archers ready to meet. And now for Louis, if he can just hold this fight, you know, I think this would be probably GG, as he has just a significant villager lead. Now you say that, but it's not always the case, but it certainly helps a lot. It doesn't hurt. Okay, so good micro sambar from Louis, keeping those knights alive, trying to pick off the spearmen with the archers, but the Spahi's on the front line actually getting on his archers, and he's forced to put his knights there in the way. He's trying to pick those spearmen off. He's continuing to do a good job. Meanwhile, the villagers actually taking out some of the Rams, but the Spahi come to me, and now he's going to lose some villagers, and this is where he can even the odds. So that's going to be a decent amount of dead villagers. I don't think he's going to win this engagement, but he's going to get some economy damage. You can see a lot of villagers going down. So that's really even the odds. So Beasty can play this into the later stages of this game. And he's continuing to fight here, but you can see the French holding on, Knights coming back home. And now this gets a little scary. Louis has held off Beasty's Ottoman push. Knights cleaning up the rest of Spahi, and now he's going to have some considerable map control, especially when you consider the fact that there's 18 Royal Knights wandering the map right now. that's going to be a problem. BC did deal out some really good economic damage, but will it be enough will be the question. There's Knights ran in here right now. There are 9 spearmen, which probably is not going to be enough to kill these. So Louis kind of needs to dive the eco line right now. You can see Beasty kind of throwing down walls, trying to do whatever he can to slow down this attack, but those Knights are probably going to come for him. He looks like he's kind of making a beeline for the north. He sees that, like, okay, there's food sources up here. He sees that the deer are back there. So I think he's going to sweep around there. But there's no one gathering there, actually, right now. Well, look at this. A nice little raid here. BC continues to make the best of his spot he's got out there. And there's some of those spearmen. And he might not have a sense of exactly how many there are, or he's just waiting for these archers to arrive. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing, because I think Louis should be able to take this fight. He's got some nice counter to those spearmen. Let's come down to a little bit of micro here. Okay, Knights charging in. Fake out, doesn't get it. And here we go. This is going to be a big moment. Starting to siege down a house, actually. Villagers on the run to the north. Villagers around the town center going for a garrison, and Louis is in the base of Beastyqt, looking to go for some kind of fatal death blow here, but Beasty dropping a second TC during all of this. Just kind of praying that Louis doesn't wrap around the side while he's building this, and so far, it's looking like it might be his lucky day, and this really could help him start to even the odds on these villager differences. But even with some villager differences, Ottomans keep training units out of these, so you know, that's a decent amount of kind of hidden economic value. There we go. The fight is taken. Louis using the Knights to kind of brace against the spot. He's using the archers to try to counter out all of those spearmen. And so far, he's continuing to grab those. And once he kills them, he's going to turn around with his Knights and take this fight. He's actually able to get some hits on the Sabahi there. Loses 2 Knights, though, with that turnaround. So not the greatest of trades, but some microing back, trying to pick off spearmen. There's just so many. He had time to kind of gather up this mass again. It seemed like at first maybe Louis could have ran in there, but now you can see a fair amount of spearmen. He's been able to do a lot of damage to his army. But there we go. He's going to stick the fight. The archers going to be still picking out those spearmen. Knights taking extra damage, but they're going to just try to clean up what is left. But of course, these are always high value targets to be losing like this. But BC's been able to secure his second town center. And we have a full wall on the other side from Louis. So that wall looks like it has just about been completed. In the middle of the map, we got Knights chasing Sabahi, and I think we're going to be moving into the middle to late stages of this game, folks. Archers picking off some villagers around the Twin Minaret Madras. Beastyqt adding a few farms in, but just a few. He's on berries up north. He could even move back to those deer now, but for now, he's just staying nice and safe next to that town center. And we got Knights taking on a fight with some Sabahi up to the north. And the Sabahi going to run away. And now a ram being trained up. So the ram's going the other way. Louis going to try to bring the pain to the Ottomans. I'm not sure that he has the military mass to back this up. And Beasty continues to train out of all of these military buildings. So his army replenishes very, very quickly. Down the south side, Beasty out in the open gathering fish. This is a bit of a risky move. He's taking a bit of a gamble because he just really desperately needs the food, and that is an insane gather rate for these villagers. They're getting a lot of food right now. Ram moving in, going to be targeting a house, it looks like, first. Yep, he's going to go for that. And right now the Ottoman army continues to mass up. And I feel like Beasty's going to be okay here. He's just going to keep growing that military. Louis sending reinforcements from across the field. Now that's a lot of archers. So we'll see how this goes. It's going to be all about these... oh man, a nice round there on the archers. Beasty getting a few nice picks there. And they're probably going to back up, I'd expect, or I'm not sure if he'll chase this as there's reinforcing archers coming across the field. He just now gets vision on those. But there is a meta in here, of course, as well. Looks like they're going for some melee armor. Okay, and Beasty continues to push this fight. If you look at the upgrades, he's got both sides. Red's got a lot of them. BC has almost all of them, but he takes this fight, pushes out, but I think he might have overcommitted a little bit here as we see the spearmen kind of getting cleaned up, and those spearmen are just so crucial to keeping these Knights at bay. Louis with over 1,000 gold right now. Beasty's army retreating on home. He has his 2 TCs. He's just 10 villagers behind right now, but at any moment a raid could come in here on the south side, and that would be absolutely devastating. Okay, so the Ottoman army aggroed once again. He's actually, you can see here, spawned in those Janissaries from his Vizier point, which will be nice against those knights. This is a good little buff to this army. So he's going to be taking some shots. You can see those knights just get shredded by those Janissaries. There's a great counter, a rare unit, of course, for the Second Age. The Ottomans only civilization to have this unit. Villagers caught up in the mass, and suddenly Beasty making a good little chase across the map. Archers are trying to pick off the Janissaries, but there are 6 Janissaries still alive, and if he can just get those knight numbers down, it will give him some room to start to run around some Sipahi. And you can see, look at this Beastyqt cleans up this army. 2 towers built to defend. He's going to have to ultimately retreat, but that was an excellent trade for him. You can see the actual destruction value. Both players have been very, very close in this regards. A ram left in the middle of the map, kind of ashamed that he wasn't able to complete his task. And Beasties neutralized that army, at least kept him off of his, his army to the south. Maybe part of why he kept kind of coming out here mid and chasing was just to keep that army fixed on him. He didn't want to give him downtime to think about, like, oh, let's explore the south. He just kept pushing out, even though some of those fights looked like they might have been less than ideal. It kept his army fixed on his mass, and he was able to gather a lot of resources down here to the south. Now, we do see some knights hunting. Will they be able to find the villagers down here on the berries? Going for the wraparound. I don't think Beasty knows these are there, but at the same time, Beasty gets a little raid of his own. Look at that. Some Ottoman villagers left for the taking, and those Sipahi going to be doing some damage to those. Archers coming to meet them, but that's not going to be a big threat, but he's going to run away for now. Knights looking to run into the wood line like they typically do. Little does he know the juicy raid that's available to the south, and he's going to get a run by. He might be able to pick off some villagers down here on the deer yet again. Okay, Knights running into the corner, pulling the entire Ottoman army towards him. Meanwhile, mid-map, we got archers moving back and forth, and Beastyqt is aging up. We've got the Mehmet Imperial Armory, so that's going to be for siege units. You're likely going to see a mangonel right away out of that once that gets trained. Louis with a lot of gold in the bank, Beasty with a lot of food in the bank. He keeps those knights off of his villagers. Meanwhile, Louis defending his villagers gathering out in the fields, and he does a good job with just a few knights there, as well as those archers that have been positioning. And like I mentioned earlier this game, this map is just all about using the map, getting out of the map, getting the food, not transitioning to farms too early. Now, you might do a slow transition. Like, it's okay to put a few, so like you don't want to just like suddenly run out of all of your hunts or all your berries and have a moment when you have no food coming in. So a few farms definitely good. You can see both players actually doing that. But overall, they've got a lot of villagers out gathering these fish for the most part. But Beasty about to hit the castle age, and Louis needs to save up the food, but he's been just spending it on the knights, and he has lost a considerable number of knights, so he's spending it on all. There we go. You can see some food was actually just dropped off, and it looks like he's now going to be getting ready to age up himself. Knights chasing around. Beasty might want to consider, walling the rest of this off so he doesn't have to keep chasing these knights around, because they're probably just going to do this to him the entire game. And now, there was earlier stages of this game that was looking like, Beasty did that initial attack. He was way down on villagers, was losing that fight, but then he was able to strike a good amount of Louis' villagers, and I think that really bought him the space that he needed, along with having some nice trade against some of these knights, that Janissary push being really, really effective. And Louis has his villagers running around right now, not gathering. That's 21 villagers right now. And here we go. He's trying to chase that speedy Ottoman army, but they are just so quick. But it looks like they turn and take the fight. Louis hitting the castle age, might have been queuing up some techs back at home. We do see royal bloodlines being researched right now, and the veteran upgrade for the knights. Okay, and right now we have the royal knights continuing to run around. No upgrades yet. In the middle of the map, though, here comes the Ottoman army, and we've got a massive units, man-arms starting to make it into the mix as well. We've got a raid up to the north. We got a raid to the south. There's action everywhere. Villagers dying. Beastyqt losing vills. Also, Louis losing vills. But it looks like Beasty's coming through mid. He is really pushing hard here. Archers down there still don't have their upgrade, but they should in the next few seconds. 15 seconds till those come in. So they're just buying themselves some time. Sabahi meets them fighting up against those knights, but those are going to get wiped out pretty easily. Picking off the man-arms as they are trained is always nice to be doing. Louis just lurking those knights and going to go for another raid here. These stealth force are just so nice for hiding in between raids and popping out and getting some value. Here, Vizier Point coming in right now. Has Beastyqt added an additional military school? 1, 2, 3. I don't see his 4th military school yet. Knights going for a raid. We've also got lone spearmen up to the north. This Ottoman army just trying to push around, find any villagers he can kill, not taking super major engagements. And there we go. Some more villagers free for the taking. Can he get there in time? He's just now realized it. Going to start picking them off. And BC's keeping this game very close, even on one town center. Spearmen coming to meet these. Will Louis be watching and be able to stop it before he loses all of his knights? Looks like he's not paying attention because there's other stuff going on the map. He just now notices, pulls them, takes some damage. Of course, those royal bloodlines, they can take quite a punch there. Okay, those veteran archers getting in range, and he's kind of on the flank. But where's his anti-cav? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking here. And the answer is he doesn't have any. He's just kind of bluffing there. And now BC has realized they turn around the Sabahi are going to be tanking lots of damage and dealing a lot of damage to these archers. A few man-arms there, but of course he's still got a few Janissaries and is able to deal with them okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's too much for him to handle now because his R. He's got quite a few man-arms starting to show up, so those could be pretty tanky. Let's see if Beasty adds in maybe a few crossbows or something. Knights going for a raid on the farm as we get really close to the 30-minute mark of this match. I told you at the onset, guys, Louis versus Beastyqt, it is a tough matchup. Every time you see it, you're not sure where it's going to go, and man, it never disappoints watching these two play. They're just very, very good at what they do. Knights continuing to raid this entire game. Spearman finally going to wipe those out. And there we go in the front line. Mangonel coming out. Can he get a hit on those archers? But he doesn't have a very big army to defend it right now. But it looks like they're going to back up now that he sees the Mangonel. And we'll probably see a Springgold come out soon, I would imagine. Archer's going to take another hit there, but only loses a few. 3, I guess. Let's see. Do we have we do have a forward keep. Of course, the French, they've got a discount on their units when built around the keep for their archery range and their stable. Okay, so Beasty's starting to draw a line in the sand. He's going to be trying to force his opponent into this lane, and you see he is just slowly pushing with that Mangonel. Nothing to really contest it, but the man-arms. Oh, I thought the man-arms were going to stick it, but they turned around. Lucky for Beasty in that case. You see more military protection on the front line. We've got more stables, another military school. He's got more Sabahi or Medders coming out for those buffs, and he's grabbing a lot of stone. You can see he has 1,400 stone, so he's got keep drop dreams. And there we go. It's going to stick the fight. Mangonel's going to be firing on his archers. Louis moves in the position, trying to kill it, but he's taking. He just keeps moving around. Trying to pick off the spearmen, I guess, to soften up some room for his knights later on. But overall, it looks like BC's holding this, and even a second Mangonel coming in. Yeah, just fighting underneath this is really very hard to do. And it looks like BC's going to hold. And you can see 200 pop for BC. The Ottomans, they surely help you with that because you always got those auto units training, and he's got a lot of military production. They train quickly. He's been training villagers nonstop. So he's at full pop while his opponent's at 146. So he's in a good position. He's got more economy. He's got more military. And now he's going to just take his sweet time as he pushes across the map. We see some man-arms, some spearmen down to the south. A Wololo. I think that was just to, you know, you see Beasty do that a lot. He does that just to distract his opponent. He might go for raid and then pop that Wolo in his base because the opponent's going to look and see what's going on. So he does that as a distraction technique. So it's very, very smart. Big brain. Okay, but here's this mid-map keep. Now, one problem, he's at full pop. How would you kill a keep when you're at full pop? He's got all of this infantry and stuff, but none of this is good at killing a keep. It looks like he's decided, well, I'm just going to go around it. Well, for now he's building some rams, so that's all about to change. 4 rams being dropped down on the south side. Looks like he's broken through, distracted Louis, and Louis looking to be in a difficult situation. Sabah, he's still not really running north to hitting these raids. There is a defensive keep. Down in the south, BC has largely been unrated for quite a while. Ram's about to come out, and I don't think he's really going to be able to defend against these as they move in. Archer, 2 archery ranges, 2 up for grabs. So this will be a nice pickup for him if he's able to take down this keep. We can see more barracks being dropped down, and he's mostly training man-at-arms. Not a lot of crossbows in this. In fact, 0 crossbows. So he doesn't have a lot of anti-armor per se. So that could be a nice little switcheroni for Louis. It looks like he's targeting the northern keep first. So Louis heads north, trying to push villagers off of gold, which is a good tactic. And Beasty also aging up during this. So we got the Seagate Castle being dropped down. He's gonna build it on the front line. There it is, the defensive landmark. And that keep is definitely going to be going down as we see all these villagers being chased. They're trying to get out of there, but he's chasing. Mining camp under fire as well. He has spotted the age up and bringing his own man-arms in. This actually could be a nice little time to pick off a few villagers here because Beasty really can't defend this against his man-arms a ton. He can use his Mega now to take some shots at these archers, certainly. And we can see a few villagers going down. It's not going to be a massive deal. Well, oh man, he denies the age up. Beasty pulls at the last second. It was looking like he was going to complete it, but he does pull some villagers, and it looks like Louis has bought himself some extra time. He knows what Beasty's doing. Beasty reacts and realizes, oh crap, pulls his army back from home. He still does take out the keep up to the north, and now he's working on these towers, so he's denied that gold from Louis for the time being. And Louis is not gathering gold anywhere from what I can see. Nope. See a lot of villagers coming out, so he's got plans. I wonder if he's going to go across the map. Oh my gosh, look at this. He's gathering gold right underneath BC's nose because he's got this mining camp. He knows about this. Oh my gosh. Finish the age up! He's just so busy microing. Okay, Rams going after the keep. Villagers pulled to kill the Rams. Will he be able to hold this fight as he's sitting right underneath all that military production as it's happening? 2 Rams go down. I don't think this is going to be enough to take down this keep at the moment, though the mangonels could help quite a bit. Big shot, and there you go. Louis goes down. Beastyqt opens with the 1 TC versus 2 TC French. Gets some excellent villager raids. A really tough game back and forth for both players. They're out on the map. Surely, I really like the fact that Marshland just really encourages players to use the map, and we get a lot of exciting plays from that. I hope you enjoyed this casted game, and if you did, consider subscribing to the channel. Leave me a comment down below because it helps me out with the algorithm, and I hope to see you for one of my live streams on twitch.tv/FitzBro. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.